O fairest princess, even though I beest the king of the land, I humbly request that you and your subjects maketh thyself ready for thine sleeping chambers.
Huh?
I said, you kids come down for bed. Oh.
And stay out, you peasant!
Oh, my head. Hey, everybody. I've got Once Upon a Castle on the table from Blue Orange Games. Let me go over this game with you guys. For setup in this game, you're going to make sure that everybody has one of these player boards here. You're also going to give everyone a set of tokens in a color of their choice. And you're going to give them one of these papers here. How the game works is on your turn, you're going to roll these two dice and hopefully you will get some icons. I got 2 question marks there. But let's just pretend that I got 2 different icons there. And you're going to take those colors and use 2 of your tokens to put on your board the different colors that you got. So I got yellow, orange, I guess that is, and gray. And so anywhere on my board, I could put these tokens on those color spaces. So I might put an orange one there and a gray one there. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to fill up complete rows or columns to take the different actions listed around the outside of your player board. So let me explain what each of these actions do. I'll start right here in this bottom left corner here. If I can get a token here, here, and here, then I can take this action on my turn. And what that action does is it lets me draw 2 walls and a person on my player board. And so again, this is a roll and write. I'm writing things on my board, but it's also a race game because I'm trying to do this faster than any other player at the table. And so for 2 walls, I would draw along the outside of these walls to show that I have completed building this wall for my castle, and then I'd get to do another wall. And I'm trying to do this with looking through the camera here, so excuse that. And so I've done 2 walls, and then I'd get to do a person. I've already colored in 2. So I would color in this 3rd one right here. Now, for the people, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to complete the people for these different sections of people. So by the end of the game, I am hopefully going to get all the way here, and you color from left to right, top line, left to right, bottom line, and wherever you end by the end of the game is how many points you're going to get. So at this point, if the game were to end right now, I'd get 0 points because I'm stuck there in the 0 range. So that's what building walls and people do. This little icon right here represents a banner or a flag that you're hanging in your castle. And so if I had 1 token there on that gray, I could do this action by taking that off, and I would get to, again, fill in a person and do a banner. Now I have to do a banner on a wall that I've already completed because I can't put a banner up in thin air. It has to be on a completed wall. So I would do this banner right here, and that particular banner gave me 1 point. That's what the 1 in it means, so I would write a 1 on that banner. So that's how all of those actions basically work. This action up here, if I had 2 tokens right there like that, I could clear the board off and I could do 1 level of the donjon. So the donjon is this big tower in the middle, and you can color these in too if you feel like it. And you're trying to complete your donjon as well, because the first player who completes their donjon gets all 4 parts of that. They're going to get to do this big cloud out here, and that's worth 4 bonus points at the end of the game. Now, if you remember, the icon showed part of the donjon and a card. And so the cards come into the game at this point, and let me show you the cards here. So you've got a deck of cards, and as part of setup, you're going to deal out 3 cards. The cards all have a number of victory points that they will provide you at the end of the game, as well as some sort of class of type of card. So the ones that have lightning bolts on them are going to give you some sort of benefit. So this one in particular lets you put tokens on 2 red spaces in your kingdom, on your board. and it's a one-time thing. So you use it, you keep the card, because if you ever are able to fill up these 2 spots, you can take this action right here, and that will let you use one of your lightning bolt cards again. So you could use him to fill up 2 more spots in your land. So that's how those lightning bolt cards work. You also have ones that have crowns on them, and crowns basically are part of the royal party in your castle. This is the courtesan, for instance. If you notice, she's got a question mark up here because her victory points are determined at the end of the game based on how many crowns you have. And so she would only count for 1 at this point because she counts as her crown herself, but hopefully you have more crowns by the end of the game. And ones that have these hourglasses on them means that their powers are active as long as you retain this card. So for instance, anytime you roll a red with this guy, you will not only get to do a red, but you will also get to add 1 person into your castle. Now, what do I mean by as long as you retain this card, you get to use these powers? Well, there is an action in this game that allows you to steal a card from a player. And so this is a rule that I would have you guys be mindful of, because it is kind of a take that rule, and you can kind of really disrupt someone's plans. Actually, in the playthrough video, I did use this action. I used it against my daughter, and I took this card from her because she had a lot of crowns and I didn't want her to get all those points, and I had some crowns and I wanted the points for myself. So I used that action and she was not too happy about that. All right, so the other action you can do on your board is build a tower, and that's what these actions over here do. And so if you were to fill up any of these rows to take these actions, what you're going to do is you are going to draw in one of these towers here, and you would then write in whatever number you completed. So let's just say I did 4, and so I would write a 4 on that. Now again, this is a race game, and so you're trying to do this faster than anybody else. Once a player has completed all 4 parts of the donjon, they would get to do the cloud if they're the first to do it. I've already explained that. But also, if you can do all 4 parts of the donjon and all 4 towers, there's 4 towers, and all 4 walls, so 12 parts. If you're the first one to do that, you get to color in the sun here. And the first player who does that immediately ends the game. No one else gets to go any further. The banners are just kind of bonuses that you don't have to do the banners to be the one who completes the tower, nor do you have to complete all the people. You just have to do the 4 towers, the donjon, and the walls. And then you would get the bonus points and end the game. Now there's one other thing that I haven't explained to you guys. When your opponents go, so let's pretend that it's this person's turn and they've rolled. They're going to get both dice, so they would put one, let's say there, and I've already got one there, so let's just say that I would put one there. The other people at the table would get to pick one of the dice to do on their own board. So if my opponent rolled that and I'm over here, I would get to pick one of these dice to do, and so I might just put one on my gray there. So I'm still getting to do things even when it's not my turn. I can't take any actions. If I filled up things on my board, I can't take those actions until it comes to my turn, but I can put tokens on my board. And so that's a very important thing to keep in mind. Now at the end of the game, the things that you're going to add up to determine who the winner is, you're going to add all your points on your towers. You're going to add any points that you got from bonuses like the cloud and the sun. You're going to count how many people you had in your castle, and wherever your line left off in that group, that's how many points you're going to get. You're going to add all the points that you had on any banners in your castle. You are also going to count any points that you have on your cards, because again, they give you points. You're going to add up all those points and put it right there. Whoever has the most points is the winner. Now, there's one last thing that I'll go over in this game with you guys. On the back side of these boards is a green side, and it does look different. There are fewer actions on this side. You can't steal cards. In fact, the cards are very much different. There's a green deck of cards as opposed to a blue deck, and these green deck of cards only give you points. They don't do any special activities or anything. And so this is a very watered down version of the game. And normally on Love to Hate, I would recommend you guys to do beginner variants or junior versions of the game. But in this case, for Once Upon a Castle, I'm going to tell you guys not to do that for this game because this game is fairly easy. The iconography is really the only complicated part of this game, and the back page of the rule book does a very good job of explaining to you what all the different cards do. And really, there's only that one rule of stealing a card that is kind of a mean rule. Other than that, the advanced version, the blue side of this game, is the better way to go. So that's what I would recommend for Once Upon a Castle.
All right, so here we are playing Once Upon a Castle. This is Sam, me, and our two oldest kids playing this game. 4-player game here, and this is an interesting game. It's a roll and write game, which kind of comes with some interesting concepts in and of itself. It's not your typical game in which you're moving things around on a board necessarily. You have your own little piece of paper that you're writing and drawing on and rolling the dice and using that to formulate your castle in this case. And it's a nice racing game. There's a racing aspect to it. You're trying to do things quicker than the other players at the table. Sam, what are some of the things you like about this game?
Well, first of all, I like how simple it is, and it's a fairly quick game as well. And I like the competitive aspect of it, where you are trying to make sure that you are the first one to finish. But at the same time, you want to make sure that you're getting the highest numbers that you can. Sometimes that means you have to take that extra dice or that extra time to build up those spaces to get a 7 instead of a 1 or a 4, if that makes sense. So it's competitive, and you kind of have to be strategic about, it would be easy to finish your castle first, but is that actually going to give you the most points? No, probably not.
Right. So it is a give and take balancing act there. And I do like that as well in this game. I think there are a few good choices that you make throughout the course of the game. I'll be honest with you guys. I've never won this game. I've lost every time we've played it. It's either been Sam winning or our oldest son. So I obviously don't make the right choices throughout the course of the game. And for me, I like how straightforward it is. I think there is something to like about that. It is a nice entry level game to get non-gamers into the concept of roll and write type of games. There's not a whole lot of rules to it. It's not complex. It's fairly straightforward. You get what you have on the dice, put those tokens somewhere on your board, take the actions once you filled up those tokens, boom, done, quick, easy.
Sometimes it's nice to play a game without your brain hurting. Just
right.
Play
it is
it,
not
have
a
fun,
brain
and be done.
Right. So let's look at the flip side of this, though. What are some things that you don't care too much for in this game?
Well, and this is something that won't be said about many other games by me, but I think it might be just a little too simple. I think it's a great starting game for maybe one of the first games you want to start with for a non-gamer, and definitely if it involves kids, it's a great game. But we've played it quite a bit because our son loves it and he always wins. But I think that also tells of how simple it is, and it just maybe is lacking a little bit in the complexity.
Yeah, I agree with that. My thoughts are pretty similar. It's very straightforward, and like I've said, that's a good thing for this game. It doesn't bill itself as being anything it's not. Stick figure art here on the box cover. I mean, it knows that it's an entry level type game, and that's its good aspects to it. But at the same time, if you go into this thinking that it's going to be something that gives you a unique gaming experience that satisfies you for the night, you're going to be disappointed in it. It's not that type of game. Like I've said, there's not crunchy decisions to be made with it. It's fairly straightforward, and I don't know that that's necessarily a knock against it. It's just that's what it is. That's the type of
Yeah,
game it is.
I think I would compare it slightly. They are different games for sure, but I would compare it a little bit to Dice Hospital, with the thought process and putting the dice down and figuring out where they need to go and things like that. But Dice Hospital is one that I'm going to reach for time and time again. I enjoy it and it changes each time, whereas this game is pretty much the same every time you play it. Does that make sense?
Yes, yeah. The choices are similar every time you play it, and yeah, that's what it is. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing in this case. I enjoy playing it. Let's get to our ratings. For me, I give this game a 6, which may sound harsh, but I'm coming at it from the gamer perspective here. This again is not going to be one that blows other games out of the water. There are other roll and write games out there, such as Cartographers or Welcome to, which is a flip and write, but same idea. And we'll review those games later on, but those are going to be more gamer type roll and write games, whereas this is definitely more a non-gamer type. What number do you give this game?
I'd give it an 8. I think that it's fun, it's quick, it's easy, it's simple. You can play it with kids, which is going to be big in my book. And I don't have to be explained the rules or be reminded of the rules each time.
Yeah.
I know how to play it. It's fun. I'd give it an 8.
Awesome. Well, there you guys have it. I don't know that I have to ask this, but Sam, is this a game that you would recommend for non-gamers?
Yes, I think this is a very good first game for non-gamers.
There you go. Entry level, perhaps something to use to work your way up to more advanced games in the roll and write genre out there. All right, guys, if you like this game, check out the link in the description of the video to buy it. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. This has been Love to Hate.